Hello, my name is Charles, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get out of your own way. Or just the importance of getting out of your own way, honestly. Um, and why it's kind of like the natural state. You see, for a lot of people, there's people who are socially anxious, who feel like they just, struggle in social situations, or even people who, procrastination is hard for them, or they're just, they're always getting in their own way. They're always, causing their own issues, so to speak. And if you're one of those people, the best way to kind of get out of your own way it comes from a simple recognition of the vastness or infinite / plenitude nature of like your soul. Like just kind of, that is, I think, the fundamental recognition. But on a more easy to understand way, I think it's like maybe the first step is just recognizing like how much of life is kind of taken care of for you. Because like a lot of people will be like, I'm the self-made man, I did it all myself. And like, yeah, you may have like taken the action, so to speak. But let's say, let's take this for example. When you wake up in the morning, right, and you reach for your phone to check what time it is, that thought just kind of like, perfectly appears. Like if you were held at gunpoint and you were genuinely asked, I think for 99.9% of people, right, they're held at gunpoint and they're genuinely asked, how did you make that thought happen? Show me how you caused all the neurons to fire in that way and make that thought appear. They have no idea. Nobody knows how they do that. You don't honestly know how you make that thought appear. And yet it appears. And it appears so magically. And it works just when you need it to. Like even take like digestion of food, right? I'd say pretty much same thing for everybody as well. You're held at gunpoint and you're like, you live or die. You have to tell me, how are you digesting this food? All right, show me how you do it. Show me how you contract the stomach. You have no idea how you do it. Dude, you just eat food. Most people just eat food and the digestion just occurs, right? And even if they're like biologists or and they know like the chemical processes to a really deep, good scientific understanding, they still couldn't, they still can't, what's it called? Like consciously control it. That, you just put food in and your body does it. So too with like 99% of things. Like a lot of life is just kind of taken care of for us. We have, like thinking that you, the ego, are like, essentially manufacturing your entire experience and what's it called? You are the author of absolutely all of it is just ridiculous. Just utterly ridiculous. Yes, you are taking the voluntary action, right? You're folding your clothes, you're doing your homework or going to work or whatever. Yeah, you're doing those things. But to say that like, you're controlling or like 99% of like, your moment to moment experience, or that that the ego are like controlling all of that, or, it's just bullshit. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's not true. It's just not. And so, yeah, just kind of be grateful. I think the natural reaction of that is to be like super grateful. Like so much of life, like from the ground up is like taken care of for us. Like assuming you're socially well adjusted and your brain's working pretty fine, right? And your body's working pretty fine. Your spirit is at peace or calm for the most part. Like most of life is just kind of taken care of for you, man. Like even from the ground, like you don't you know, you don't have to tell your brain, hey, you need to send hunger signals when I'm hungry. It'll take care of that for you. It'll let you know when to eat. When you're tired, it'll let you know when to sleep. It'll actually do sleeping for you, right? We just lay in bed, get comfy, and then sleeping just kind of happens for us. And then even on like the societal level, right? Like societies nowadays are getting more and more affluent. They have more and more resources. I mean, if you're in America and you're financially like middle class or even higher, you can literally, if you are too lazy to make food, you can press a few buttons on an application and a driver will bring you any food you want that is on that app. And it's pretty much automatic, and you can be the laziest individual ever, and it's awesome. So there's like even from a societal view, so many more things are being taken care of. It's really just, we should just be, I'm so grateful. I'm really so grateful. We should all just be so grateful for how much of life is just taken care of for us. Like especially, on a societal level in developed countries, we have like little social systems that like take care of most things. Like it's pretty awesome. And then even on like, more of a fundamental level, like most of the things about the human experience are just kind of taken care of. Just, God, the designer, or if you don't want to say that, just whatever intelligence created it all. If you don't want to use the word God, just, set it up so most things are taken care of. I mean, most human beings, if they were really sat down and your interrogation, you're held at gunpoint, they're like, how are you thinking your thoughts? How do you how are you even telling your brain to do all that? They have no idea. No, nobody really knows how they're doing it all. And it just works so wonderfully anyways. So it's just nothing to be but grateful. Life takes care of life. It's set up to just work wonderfully. And so that's a really comforting, like amazing thing. That like the intelligence that set it all up, if you don't want to use the word God or God, set it all up so well for us to enjoy, appreciate, explore. And it's really awesome. So yeah, and this is not to say that like suffering or negative experiences don't exist. I'm not here to minimize everybody's troubles. But it is here to say that, that a majority of the processes and things we engage in as human beings and practices and all that is set up wonderfully for us. We don't even have to control it. And so I think that recognition helps us get out of our own way. The admission of like the humility that my ego is not like solely controlling all of this, that like really life or the intelligence or God, if you're willing to use that word, is really taking care of all this for me, just allows you to be super relaxed, super happy, enjoy life, have, wonderful relationship. You can still do your work. You can still, do everything you normally would. But now it's just super relaxed and happy and enjoyable because you realize you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have the burden of thinking that poor little me is responsible for all of this or not all of this, right? I can just enjoy the experience. So I think that understanding is really nice, and I think it's kind of fundamental to, or at least it's the doorway into getting out of your own way. It's just being like, wow, this a lot of this is just happening for me, man. Just happens for me automatically, and I don't even have to worry. So yeah, I hope that's enjoyable, and I hope that's like really reassuring and kind of comforting. For a lot of people, you see this with, the stereotypical control freak, that they have a lot of anxiety or they worry a lot. And sleep deprivation and other things can cause that. But I think a lot of the time just kind of recognizing like, a lot of this is just kind of happening for me. I and just kind of get out of my own way, enjoy the experience, and trust and love, and it'll just happen wonderfully. So, yeah, I hope that helps. You know, yeah, I really do hope that helps. It certainly helped me. Certainly has helped me. And if you're curious or you want to learn more, just put in the comments below, or even just think to yourself, be like, am I really making every thought appear? Do I even know how I make my thoughts appear? Do I even know how I make my feelings appear? Do I even know how I cause my brain to go from comfortable to sleep? Do I really know how I'm digesting my food? Do I really know how most of what I'm doing is happening? No, right? No, you don't. And you couldn't even do it if you tried. Right? If you tried right now, let's say, the universe, God re-rolls, changes it up, and he says, now every human being has to consciously control their heartbeat and has to remember the rhythms and how to do it and when to do, what level of heart beating. We'd all die. None of us can keep track of it for that. I mean, dude, if people are struggling with their attention span for like 20 seconds on TikTok, can you imagine having to keep track of your heart all the time? We're all dead. All of us are dead. Dead, done. Human species extinct. So I mean, just realize that and be like, I'm good to go. Like, God's taking care of this for me. Or if you don't want to use that word, don't. Just say life, the universe, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to say for what created, what's governing it. Be my guest, but just know that that's kind of running the show and not your little ego. So I hope that helps. Trust in love. Trust in that. You can still enjoy everything, your relationship, your friends, your business, your work. You can still do absolutely everything, even with the recognition that most of it is just being taken care of anyways. So I hope this helps. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That is the first step into getting out of your own way. So God bless. Enjoy your spiritual journey. And until next time, take care.